everyone. Welcome to a brand new season of Bills and Business. This season is all about the intersection of business and AI with government affairs. We're talking to people who are actually transforming their products and in some cases their entire industries. But before we bring on founders and operators from across the country, we wanted to start right here at home. Today, we're sitting down with our founder, Laura Davis. Before she was building AI software, Laura was in the trenches, working in the US Capitol and other state capitals across the country, juggling hearings, amendments, summarizing 100-page bills, and trying to be in 8 rooms at once. She didn't start USLege because AI was trendy. She started it because she lived the problem. So today, instead of a traditional interview, each department at USLege, sales, marketing, and customer success, is bringing their hard-hitting questions to Laura. This conversation is about transformation, some wild conspiracy theories, and what it's like to go from government to startup life. Let's get into it.
Well, very good to have you, Luke. Why don't you tell everybody who you are?
Laura, great to be here. As you said, my name is Luke Markey. Been with USLege for a little over a year now, coming up on a year and a half, actually. I'm on the account management team. So ultimately, my goal is to help our partners find the most success out of USLege and go through those workflows and receive feedback and implement it. So that's my day-to-day. Great to be here. Have some hard-hitting questions for Laura, but we'll get this going here.
I was going to say, what's it like working with your roommate?
You know, it's hard to compartmentalize things.
Yeah.
It's hard to draw that line to, you could say the same thing about you.
I know.
Not knowing where to draw the line. With that in mind, we do have a strict rule that once we are on our premises, on our lawn, we cannot talk about USLege.
Wow.
Unless it's really, really important. But for the most part, we're pretty good at it.
Wow.
Yeah. We do have a third roommate who's a good buffer for it all. So
yes.
Which is a nice addition to the roommate situation, so that we're not bringing everything and everything. So.
I love that. I think everybody needs to set their boundaries for some work-life balance.
Totally. Totally agree.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm very excited because I don't know what your questions are, actually. So I'm very excited.
They're good.
Yes.
They're good. So if you're ready to roll, I'm ready to ask some questions.
Jump in.
So let me look at my notes here. First question, Laura.
Yes.
When you were deep in session prior to this role, what did a good day look like?
Ooh, winning. Winning is what was a good day. Winning. So
what do you mean by winning?
So a day in the life, I would have. So the last session I was in, I was a staffer. I was a policy director. And so for about 6 months, I'd be building coalitions, trying to pass a certain legislation. I was doing tech policy, specific actually to protecting kids online. And so I was building all of these different coalitions together with a ton of various groups, from psychologists to people who've been through really traumatic incidents to mothers, doctors talking about the brain science behind like pornography, really hard-hitting things that I had to do a lot of research and deep research into the subjects. And so the best days for me were mid to end of session, when everything started coming full circle. So when my bills were getting heard, I had prepared all the debates, all the questions, all my witnesses came in, I got to see them all in person. And then we would win. Like, we would pass the bills that we really wanted to. They'd make it to the next stage. And then, when people would come in crying that finally we got something passed, and you'd go and you'd be able to like hold that book with them, the bill book, and take pictures and just be, when you're really on the floor and you're hearing it, you're hearing the case, and then everybody's like, yes, we should vote yes on this. That is like the best day in session.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Incredible answer. I have a second question that's a part 2 to this question, which is more product oriented.
Sure.
So in that experience, your day-to-day when you're in session, what would have made you recommend the platform at that point, what your day-to-day, given your experience?
I was knee deep at that point in doing that job, but also starting this company.
Mhm.
So I was noodling all the ideas down that I had. And one of them was just like the vast amount of data that I had. So, at the end of the day, say 6 o'clock, people stop coming in for meetings. I then have a full day of work to actually go do. So whether that's writing up all the notes that I'd had for the day to prepare to tell the senator what we discussed, and then actually create the full bill book, which was everything from like the bill analysis to, I meet with people too who didn't like the bill. So I meet with people who would say, hey, we need to change this piece of law in the bill. And then I'd have to go draft those changes up, send them to an attorney to go and fix, start talking to all of my different coalition partners and like update them what was going on, check the calendar. And then I think the biggest, most tedious part was probably having to summarize all the bills that were on the intent calendar the next day. So sometimes that calendar wouldn't come out until midnight and we would have to wait. So I would just work until midnight, and then at midnight we'd have to actually write summaries. And I will say ChatGPT had just come out and I started using it. It was so bad. But like when you have 150 bills to summarize at midnight, I was using ChatGPT.
For sure.
It's obviously gotten so much better, but it's still not perfect, and it's not great because it doesn't understand like underlines and strike throughs and bills at all. So I would say for the speed to information, the bill summaries, and then the biggest problem I had was I didn't have time to see what was happening on the other chamber. So I was in a hearing for sometimes 12 hours. Maybe we've seen 18-hour, 20-hour hearings. Couple of those awful, but you'd be in that hearing, you'd be so intently listening, you'd be really in it, and then you would have no idea what was going on the House side. So when I was, I didn't even know sometimes that my bill had passed on the House, and then I'd have to go and find the moments that it was talked about, look back, adding that into the full day. You just heard of just some of the things, let alone briefing the senator, and then it ends up being a 3-hour meeting. There's a lot to do. So definitely feel for anyone who's a staffer listening to this right now. And hopefully our platform's able to help. I know the Senate side's using it, so I'm really glad.
For sure. That's actually goes straight into my next question, which
Yes.
is, do you think that this new generation are going to adopt new technologies and get away from doing some of the tedious manual work that maybe you or your community at one point were doing?
Absolutely. And that's the best thing that they could spend their time on, because if I had more time being able to go and meet with another staffer to, really lobby them on why they should bring their senator on to my bill, or go and build a wider coalition of people who should come and testify, or go and meet with the House side to make sure my bill was going to be able to go past. Those are all things that AI and technology just cannot replace. We'd probably be able to pass a lot more legislation that was good and then know what was actually going on. I think it's a bit of a crapshoot, to be honest. And so if a lot of these manual things are fixed, you could do more while also being more rested. I think everyone here can relate that during session, they're exhausted. And I know there were times that I would get home at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then know that I had to be in at 8 o'clock the next day. And that was so brutal. So being able to actually have a life would be great, in a way of just like being in bed by 9 o'clock. I think everybody would really like. So yes, I think I see the real change that's coming the most is going to be access to information will be so much easier. You're not going to have to spend hours digging. AI will start presenting you that information, and then you can act on it more strategically, do a lot more, and just have more impact.
For sure. And you said it, when you're deep in the session, it's unbelievably busy and you can't escape that. But I like what you said earlier about having some time to live rather than deep into work.
Yeah.
I wonder if what your thoughts are on whether or not a platform like USLege will enable a greater work-life balance deep into session, for when, session's super, super busy, getting home before a certain time to actually get some sleep. What are your thoughts?
It's whatever the person wants to use it for. When I started this, I thought, okay, this is going to be used for those hustlers who want to double their client load, like we're seeing now with contract lobbyists, or people who want to have more work-life balance. obviously with me starting a startup during session, obviously I just like the hustle. I know there's a lot of people who want to do that. So I think giving them the option, you have freedom of time to do whatever it is you want, but you're going to free up that time to do whatever it is you choose in life. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. I have one last technical question.
Love
I have
it.
a
Yeah.
fun question, but you're talking a bit about AI and enabling AI in your day-to-day workflow. Looking back, you think that would have been a huge, huge help, and you can see it. It's been a huge, huge help. What is a super secret tip for getting the most out of AI in legislative work?
Great question. Context and prompting. So anybody who doesn't know how to do prompting or context, giving in full documents of information to the AI to know how to write, talk to Luke, y'all. Talk to Luke. You do a great job with prompt engineering and teaching people how to do it. I think technology is becoming so much easier because you're able just to put in plain English terms what you want it to do, an instruction manual. The biggest hack is take the time to learn the tech. I'm noticing this. We use a lot of tech at USLege, obviously on the account management side, sales side, everything. And I'm noticing just learning how to use it to the best of my ability saves me so much time. So the biggest hack is meet and learn from somebody, whether it's you or taking a course on prompt engineering on how to get the most out of your prompts. It's going to be saving you so much time, more time than having to type that in again. That's probably the biggest hack.
Very cool. Last question, most important question. You mentioned Sine Die earlier, a lot of dance parties, things happening.
Yes.
I must ask, what is your go-to dance move
on the dance floor? That's so embarrassing. Well, Eric is a phenomenal dancer.
He is.
Have you seen him?
He's amazing.
He does bachata.
Dancer. Yeah.
So he's really good at bachata. That was our wedding dance. We did bachata. So I do follow his lead. He's like insanely good. But I gotta go with this move that my mom taught me. This one.
Nice. It's pretty groovy. That's pretty groovy.
Thanks, Luke.
Well, thank you, Laura. I appreciate you answering my questions. And
I'll see you in the office.
There we go.
All right. So next up is Eric. Hi, Eric. Do you want to introduce yourself for anybody who doesn't know who you are?
Absolutely. Well, introducing myself to you feels a little bit weird because
to the audience.
To the audience, of course. Well,
to our listeners.
Well, my name is Eric Davis. I'm the CEO and your co-founder at USLege. I'm excited to be chatting with you.
And husband, to anyone who doesn't know.
And husband, of course.
That is some context here.
Yes.
We're not extra friendly.
Well, we are, but to be expected, right?
Off the clock.
Off the clock friendly. Yes.
Yes.
Something like
okay.
That.
But I'm very excited.
That's like a band name, Off the Clock Friendly.
Off the Clock Friendly. Yeah, we can come up with better, like our band name.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we do have a band name. It's terrible.
It's great.
Because we're both awful.
We're both equally terrible.
Musical. Yes.
Especially indeed. Karaoke.
Yeah, well, pretty much anything musical for sure. Karaoke is just, we've had some like moments in karaoke where we have questioned our life decisions together for sure.
I've said the only time that you really just look disappointed in me when I perform karaoke in front of you. And
well, I just want to say that I'm sorry I didn't hide my emotions better.
Yeah, so, it's hilarious. It's always so funny.
It was just so bad. It's okay. We have redeeming qualities. So
we have so many, but that's okay. No,
we're pretty bad. But
that's okay.
I'm excited to chat with you a little bit about yourself. I kind of know all the dirt already, so I know that
you do.
I know where to dig with this. Right?
Oh, you want the dirt? Huh?
Well, as a whole, I love weird questions.
Me too.
With weird answers. So I think the first thing that I will ask you, I'd love to hear a story, and I might have heard it, maybe I haven't. We'll see. But what's like one of the weirdest stories that you had from your time in politics? Would you say?
I mean, there's a lot of weird stories. I think learning how the sausage is made is very alarming to anybody who's gone and studied political science in school and then goes to Capitol Hill and is like, this is traumatizing. So I'll just explain what I mean with that, and then I'll tell you a funny one. But I didn't know how to pass a bill. I was like, oh, teach me how to pass a bill. And my boss on Capitol Hill was another like 25-year-old female. And she was just like, who do you know in Senator Blank's office or Congressman whatever's office? And I was like, oh, the guy Jimmy who's been asking me out. And he's like, call up Jimmy and get him to sign your bill. I'm like, that's terrible. Great. But what it did teach me is that it's all about relationships. It's all about connecting and networking. And but that was like sad to learn that the system worked like that, right? And it was actually a good thing in that the Hill was just run by mostly women under 30, which was actually very cool at the time for me. Weird. There's a really funny time that I will remember. I was a staff assistant on the Hill. So you do everything from teaching the interns, managing them, and you do the constituent mail, you handle the responses, and you also handle all the crazy calls that you get. And so I loved the things that I've learned from that and like looking back, but I didn't like doing it at the time because I dealt with all these crazy calls. I would have everything from like someone from saying they were in an underground bunker and that like warning and threatening that the world was going to end.
Sounds legit.
Super legit. And some were funny, and our rules like you can't hang up. The rules you can't hang up. So I would like learn to talk to all these people.
Did you ever hang up?
Oh yeah. If they cursed, I said,
is
well,
that when you were allowed to? Or?
Yes, because it's disrespectful. But if they're just telling a story
So
and they're
did you try
constituent,
to like coax them into cursing then? So you could, like,
sometimes. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. There are definitely things you can't help, but it is interesting. There's a lot of really legitimate calls. So one time, the best thing though is when they come in person, because if they come to you in person, you can't hang up, and it's fun. So there was one time a lady came in. She was from the District of Columbia, as in not that there's not a state, it's just an entity. And she came in and she said, no taxation without representation. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she said, I live in DC. Where do you live? I said, DC. And she said, there's no taxation without representation. We don't have representation in Congress. And I was like, oh, I agree. It was so funny. Like I really understand that. That was so funny. There's countless just strange, very weird stories. Some I have to tell offline, but those are some I can share.
Okay. Well then that's your story on the political side, pre USLege. And I know we've talked a lot. I mean, we've all seen the show Silicon Valley,
yes.
right? And when people say like, oh, it is all too real. I'm wondering what your weird story is when it comes to startup life. What's a real startup story you have from USLege?
Oh, I have so many, and they're so funny and silly. I love the show Silicon Valley. Anyone who's not watched it, you should. It's really funny. Erlich Bachman is my favorite. But it has to be when we were first starting out in the apartment, because we started growing. We started bringing people into the office every day, and it was an apartment. And I just remember walking around. Most of us were always on a call. But there was one time I wasn't, and everyone else was on a call, so I filmed it. And I was just opening the doors, 3 people shoved in one room, 2 in another room. And so you were like, we can't live like this. We need to get some soundproofing. And you decided to get the box.
The abomination. Yeah.
Which was unfortunately also in our house. So this was like, there was no separation. So I was in our bedroom working. You, James, and Koosh were in the other room. And then you decided to get this soundproof box on Amazon that was also really expensive. It was like $800.
It was essentially like a fire blanket. Like
it was a fire blanket.
Yeah, that's over a plastic frame that had no ventilation. And like somebody Koosh went out of it and was just like sweating profusely.
He
like
was on
after a meeting, like
calls. He's like, we can't go in there.
No lighting in there. The lighting in there made you look like a skeleton.
And he looked so scary on the suit.
Yeah.
Because there was like a really weird light in there.
Yeah,
but
the lighting was pretty
that was so funny because I realized it didn't work. And you were like, no, we really wanted it to work. And then my friend came to visit and like saw our house. And she's one of my oldest friends. And she was like, what is going on? This is the most startup thing I've ever seen. There were so many. It was the most cramped I've ever seen our place. And we got in like a big disagreement about the box. And you're like, okay, I'm going to return it. things like that are just fun. And what's cool is that you can build a company doing those types of things, being really scrappy, and still everyone's really professional. But if everybody had known what's going on behind the scenes, it's just hilarious. And I think that's the way to do it. If companies don't do that early on, you're wasting money. You gotta find the scrappy, be scrappy.
Absolutely. So obviously that one was one of my not good ideas, I
Yes.
would say. So that segues into my next question. Obviously, as we have discussed with everybody, we're married. And I know I have a perspective on this. There's some weird stuff when it comes to being married to your co-founder, right? What would you say is the easiest, hardest, most interesting part, maybe, about working with working with your spouse as a co-founder?
The best thing, I think, is there's no HR when it comes to your spouse. So I do not have to worry about offending you, about giving you constructive criticism, about any of those things, because I can just give it to you straight. And, if that includes a shitload of curse words, then it includes a shitload of curse words. And then, but things can be pivoted and quickly changed faster than I think maybe with someone who's not in it. And I also don't have to explain things to you in our personal life. So I do really love that we celebrate the wins together. The sad part is when there's like a loss, you're like, oh, it's really brutal. But I do love that I can just shoot you straight, and then you do the same to me, and we just constantly develop and get better and better, instead of having to kind of dodge the lines, for sure. And I think it also makes us both able to really push things forward faster than we could have on our own. There's no guilt that we really have of, oh, stop working and do this. Or like, oh no, we know you have to do a really important thing. I'm not going to question it, right? So I think that's good. Obviously, the bad is just there's a lot of work. It's like a lot.
Does not let up at all.
But that's why you got to make it fun. So we try and make it fun.
Absolutely. Any other weird stories about me and things that I've done that you've been like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that?
The pirate hats, just.
I do tend to wear pirate hats in the office sometimes. Not like just they're like green and like a captain's hat. Okay, not like a black and red.
You guys have all worn sorts of hats. No, I like how real you are with the team, and it's pretty transparent, right? Like everyone knows what's going on. And then there's a lot of like walk and talks, which I think are good. But no, I think you're the best. So.
Very sweet of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, so this is asking for a friend, but what do you want for your birthday?
Are you wanting this on the record?
No.
Because that means you have to get it now.
That is not what this means at all. We can cut this if we want to, okay?
Ooh, I have one thing that I really do want, but it's on the edge. I don't know. It's in between a home sauna. It's probably the one. Probably a home sauna. Just because I was thinking about it last night, I really wanted a sauna and everything's closed. And my gym doesn't have a sauna anymore. I do Pilates.
So, what's your second favorite one? That's exciting. Just kidding, but kind of.
I do. I have a bucket list one. I want an Hermes scarf. So.
An Hermes scarf. It's more expensive, more cheaper than a sauna. I'll tell you that. It actually is. Now.
That's actually true.
Yeah, no, I just totally understand why people spend thousands of dollars on scarves.
It's
right?
not thousands, it's just hundreds.
Even better, hundreds on scarves.
James, I'm excited to have you on. I want you to explain what you do other than being the podcast host and the newsletter journalist and head of sales at USLege. I would love to know from your perspective what you do here.
Do a lot for sure. I've been doing the podcast now since the beginning, so I think it's getting better.
Yes, thank you, James.
I think it's getting better.
I appreciate it. Like the setup or me?
Both. Well, the content has been always pretty good, even in the days when we were doing it at TAB.
Right.
The content was good. People enjoyed it.
They did.
We've been tinkering with the quality for a while, really trying to get that moving around. But yeah, we do the newsletter. We get that running. pretty popular among the staff, I think. Not too
Yeah.
sure, but we get a lot of
Can't
views.
stop it. People love
Get a
your
lot of
news.
views, and then run most of the sales, which is cool. Been doing that as well pretty much for about a year and a half now, which is
Yeah.
cool. And started in Austin, but now we do all 50 states, and meeting people around the country is always fun.
I'm
So that's been
excited for
good.
you to train up, help train up like all the new folks as we scale. So it's going to be cool. You know the ropes for the last year and a half.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a great experience. But do you mind if we do a new segment sponsored by USLege?
Bring it.
Okay, this one's going to be called Complete the Sentence.
Okay.
You cool if I start?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to be saying the sentence and you complete it.
Okay.
University of Alabama, Pi Beta,
5.
roll.
Tied.
I am from
England.
USLege will clip your.
Testimony.
Okay. I, Laura Carr, can confidently say that based off of the research I have concluded or conducted, that aliens are.
Real.
Okay. What do you say to people who say they're not real?
Oh my gosh, I had this at a wedding this weekend. So there was a really fun couple that I met, and the girl said, "This is our biggest point of contention in our relationship, is that he doesn't agree.
That came up on wedding day?
It came up, yeah, during the wedding, and by the end of the night, at about 2:30 a.m., we convinced him to watch The Age of Disclosure.
And they watched that on their wedding night?
No, this is another
Yeah,
couple.
yeah,
This is not
okay.
the couple, the
Okay,
wedding
I
couple.
was
This
like,
is
damn.
another fun couple that we got to meet. And then she's still been texting me, and she said, "Thank you so much for you and Eric sharing your views on aliens. It's really going to help our relationship."
That's beautiful.
I know.
Yeah.
It was so
That's
funny.
really beautiful,
So
yeah.
I am excited to hear the feedback in a couple.
Well, it'd be cool. Speaking of do you think that our industry or the government as a whole is behind or forward or just right on like AI adoption? We'll skip on alien adoption because I don't think they are. But
Well, I don't know. We'll see. There's supposed to be some disclosure happening. I don't know if it'll be
For aliens?
catastrophic disclosure
I heard about
or
that
if it'll
too.
be slow release disclosure. But they have just been.
I think we all
confirming.
know that.
I think Obama and Trump
Yeah,
confirmed. So
we'll see. But are you think
bipartisan.
that like our industry or the government behind on AI forward or where
I
you
would
expect them to be?
say the government has to be really just cautious with AI. It's a totally different industry, but the government can't be behind
on anything.
private
hopefully.
industries and
Yeah.
companies. And you can't have private industries and then advocates having more information than the government. So I do think there's a real balance as long as it's secure. The adoption, I think, is behind for sure.
Yeah.
What I'm so excited about, though, is I talked to so many government partners who are so excited about utilizing tech and just utilizing AI. And I think whatever's out there that is, secure, they're compliant, then use it to the advantage.
Yeah.
If it's there, if it's available. It's
Did you see that block that was floating around Twitter of like it was like a pixel of like 1 pixel per billion people on Earth or million people on Earth, and it was like 0.2% of people pay for AI,
Oh, yeah.
and then like 13% use it, and
Yeah.
like another 10% use it for like chat, essentially just
Right.
regular, and the rest have never even touched it.
I talk to those people every day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty
So,
wild,
Yeah, I
yeah.
do. I think that's what's fun. I'm sure you have the same perspective as me. We talk to a lot of similar people. When I ask people, "Hey, what's your comfortability and use of AI?" and most people will say, "I've asked it to write an email or something like that," which is just showing that there's education needed on all
Yeah.
the tools. I'm trying to constantly learn. As a company, we're constantly learning. We're implementing new tech stacks all the time, trying to advance. And just why would we do something that's so tedious, like the Salesforce updates,
Yeah.
right? Like, shout out to Sybil. They're really good.
Yeah.
They're really good at giving us, like, putting the data in for
Getting
us.
you off admin work.
Admin work.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that's really good use case. But yeah, I could go so deep into this subject.
Yeah, it's completely replaced I don't have my phone, but like my Safari gone, Google
Yeah.
gone,
True.
just like 2 different AI sources at the bottom of the phone.
Right.
I don't know why I would use Google anymore. I mean, I would use it for
Yeah.
stuff, but like for like a typical search, I feel like it's broad. It always leads me back to Google eventually, but I feel like you might get a little bit more out of it on the search bar.
Well, what I'm excited to hear too is from like Luke on the account management side, how some customers are utilizing our tech
Yeah.
in tech in general. Like, using MCP servers, requesting us to create an MCP server, which
Yeah.
we're doing. But like MCP servers are new to
And
tech.
so what's an MPC server for people that don't?
MCP server.
What do you say to people who say, I don't know what an MCP server is?
Yes, it essentially allows you to interact with the technology at a far more easy to use level. So think it could be in Gemini, it could be in ChatGPT that connects to a lot of disparate CRM systems and software. So where our system could be utilized as a database of information that's constantly live and updated, they could go into the chat and just speak to it and say, go create me a bill track based on
Yeah.
XYZ. Use our system as the CRM record source, but then speak to it in plain English,
Yeah.
which is absolutely where the whole
From like voice to text or straight
voice
up?
or typing. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And Eric and I both dictate all the time now to AI, especially to the like I have so many GPTs that either understand context of marketing or product or the company as a whole, and then I can talk to it and communicate to create really cool custom documents. And we speak to it. I speak to it through, challenges or ideas and ideate on subjects now, which I think is really fun, and it can create just really amazing things quickly. But MCP servers are definitely the way of the future with all software. Like everybody, it will have full access to your email. All your documents can go and complete these full tasks for you, so they can go do it. Say, okay, customer wants to say, hey, let me know what happened in 5 states committee hearings today related to Google, my client, and then
Yeah.
send Google an update with a report on everything that went down today. Boom. Done.
Shocking.
Email.
Yeah.
And they have the in the CRM database. They know who the client is. They can do it. So there's a lot of really cool things. Or send a mass email to 100 legislators about a subject, right? That's kind of where it's going with MCP, which is so cool.
Yeah. That's wild. And flipping from AI, so we've been traveling a lot.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm interviewing you or you're interviewing me.
You're interviewing
Both.
me.
We'll do both.
Okay.
So
Well, no, we need a separate one for you, James.
yeah. So we've been traveling a lot. What's been your favorite memory so far? And like, I guess, the past 3 months, like New York, Chicago, really a lot of New York.
A lot of New York.
Yeah.
I love those moments when we do take a second to pause on the trip and just all be together. We've been so busy the last few months, and it's
I guess we went to Florida too, right? Was the photo
Florida.
Yeah.
okay, that was really cool. Stood out to me is whenever we were all at the deep dish pizza place in Chicago, we could all just be like, this is crazy.
We were pretty tired.
We were pretty tired. That pizza was terrible. I don't know
It was sketchy, yeah.
how pizza was so bad, but
Yeah.
I got the gluten free, so it was my fault.
Even the regular one wasn't up to snuff. It was
They all warned us.
average,
All of them said it was a tourist trap.
but it was okay. It was still
Confirmed
nice.
tourist trap.
It was fun. What do we know about Chicago? Not much.
Not much.
Yeah.
We're newbies. Yeah, it's really fun to go travel with you guys. Like seeing you around all the different customers, all the different people, seeing you talk and interact with everybody, like the whole team. It's really fun. But I do love those moments we can all be together, like at our offsite or when we're doing like a team building thing, just hanging out, because we're so busy during the day that we don't get to really like soak it all in.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, it was really fun. We all went around the circle and talked about what's been your favorite thing, what's been your least favorite. And everyone's so sentimental, and I think we all just really get along, which is really cool.
Yeah. It was good having Koosh there too.
I know.
Yeah.
He always brings up
I love him breaking down the atmosphere, breaking down the environment. It gets me going, gets me amped up.
I remember Thanksgiving a couple of years ago.
Yeah, like my second week, he called me he said I was kinfolk. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He was like, we have a kinship
Yeah.
and a friendship. So when we
I
get
was
to
like,
have
man,
those
I met
moments,
you last week. I met him like 2 weeks ago. I was like, this guy
when
is
you
so
guys-
funny.
Yeah.
That was good. No, but bringing it back a full circle, I think they're the biggest proof that if that couple hadn't, believed in aliens after the video, they could have visited Albany, because that
Why is
egg
that?
is fishy. It's super fishy.
Was that your favorite memory?
I think so. I don't believe it at all. I tried to open the doors. It was locked. It looked like people hadn't been in there for years.
So
I'm
what is
talking
the
like-
egg? Tell
like
me
thousands
what it is.
of years. I don't think people have been there. Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a couple theories. I think the number one mass theory is that it was a city developed place for a theater. That's what people say. But then there's also the idea deep in the Reddit rabbit holes that they found the egg and then built the city around it to kind of be like, oh, we made a theater.
Whoa.
But
And that's the same with the bean, no?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it's all kind of BS. But at the end of the day, what really is crazy, though, is I did a lot of research on Albany when we were there and after we left. And so, like, the entire bottom portion where that college is, at the bottom of the hill, I believe it's the college, right?
It's really pretty.
Yeah, so it's really pretty. But
Yeah.
that used to be a port. Like, it was all underground, and, like, the campus was, like, on the water. And there's, like, still ship hooks, like, 6 feet above. If you look up a little bit, there's, like, ship hooks. People could ride their boats down and, like, dammed it off. But that's a little fishy. Yeah.
I want to hear all your theories on this.
Yeah. We'll figure that one out. I like Albany. It was a beautiful town.
It is.
Yeah.
It's really gorgeous. And I like the snow too. We also have the pleasure of living in like most of the time 70 to 90 degree weather
Yeah.
in Austin. So it is fun always to visit cold places.
Yeah, and if we get snow here, it's a catastrophe.
It's bad.
It's really bad. Yeah. Good thing there's a lot of food in this house. Eric's prepped up for a while. Yeah, it could take a few freezes. Yeah.
I think
gonna
he would
happen.
be good. He likes to be chef of the company. I have to tell him to stop. We got some new policies on food we'll figure out. But
Yeah.
we're going to be changing our policies.
It was going well.
It was until Nadine left.
Nadine, I miss Nadine. I hope she's watching.
We should send this to Nadine. We miss you, Nadine.
I think about Nadine's cooking. I mean, it was spectacular.
I know. Nadine was our chef for the company, and we didn't have to think about anything. We're busy. We could just go in. She made us amazing food.
I got a lot of tips from Nadine too.
I know. She always made really good stuff. Always gluten-free, always healthy, always like...
As healthy as you could get. Even like the unhealthy meals were just pure.
She was pure.
She was a beautiful soul. But I'll wrap it up there unless you have anything else. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Okay,
James.
cool.
Keep killing it.
Yeah, we'll keep it going. Awesome.
Good stuff.
Cool.
Jess, why don't you share a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Thank you so much. I am Jess McDonald, and
Yes.
I am the head of marketing here. So before this, you guys didn't necessarily have anyone specifically dedicated to it. You guys were doing so much on your own.
Yeah, crazy.
Putting out podcasts already by the time I got here and doing a ton of social media already. And I'm glad to be here to just help plus and add to what we have going on already. So it's been really nice and it's been really lovely. Not quite a year yet, but man, it's coming up fast.
I know. When is the year anniversary?
April.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Isn't that
that's
crazy?
It's right around the corner.
Well, thanks for making all our marketing dreams come true. I love
Of course,
this.
I love it. Well, let's dig in a little. So, we do this podcast, which is really exciting. And this particular season, we're really focused on businesses, their transformation, how they're utilizing AI to accomplish, amazing things, right? So I think it's a really good focus for us. But with all that said, I want to hear from you. What does transformation mean to Laura?
In personal life or in
Personal life?
in work?
In work and or in this industry. What do you think transformation looks like?
Just gonna say in personal life, Pilates.
Yeah. Everyone do Pilates. It's
Everyone
a
do
plug
it.
for Pilates.
Solid core is really good.
Yeah.
I'm noticing.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Yeah. Results.
Results.
That's what transformation means to you, is seeing results.
Seeing results. Transformation is what is happening in this industry, but in every single industry right now. And I think it is with AI. It is with the advancement of technology. You're seeing people get a little uneasy of, oh, how is this going to affect my industry? Well, it is going to affect every single industry.
Yeah.
And so really what I think the transformation is too, it's not like we haven't transformed before. It's that it's happening so much faster than it's ever happened.
Like industrial revolution, that took a little bit of time.
Yes.
This is happening in a few years.
A few years.
Like thinking back to, 2023,
Yep.
you kind of jumped in and saw these AI tools, and what did you see that other people didn't see at that time in this specific industry, government affairs and relations? What did you see?
Thank you. That's a good question. It all goes back to aliens. Honestly, I'm not kidding. So I was really into futurism and futurists. And there's a man, Michio Kaku. He's an author who I've read a bunch of his books. And back in, 2018, it was really when I started reading them. And he is a futurist physicist. He's on like Discovery Channel and History Channel a bunch. The Future of Humanity was one of the books. And I loved that. I went to his book signing like alone. I was like a pretty big nerd about his books. He is about the future of a lot of different things. And what he predicted really is coming true. And that's one of the things is you're noticing, there's so many things that he predicted. But in general, it made me just think about what is the future going to look like? I've always been really interested in that. And how's it all going to change? And technology is really advancing it. And what's society going to look like? What are those implications? I'm always just really fascinated by that. So I saw the advent of LLMs, and I know some people would say, oh, it's not that good. And I'm like, yeah, but it's going to get really good. If it's this good now, what is it going to become?
No, it's a great thought.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? Even in 5 years from today, what is this world going to look like?
I think it's really hard to say exactly, but what I do predict is it's going to be a more creator economy. Everybody is going to be their own entrepreneur. There's going to be more even distribution of, you're seeing right now like a few big tech companies owning everything. That isn't going to be forever, and there's going to be more small there's going to be room for real niche interesting products to come out, new industries completely that are created, but also the rise of just the things that can't be replicated by AI, like the trades and construction. Things really going to boom. Like, think of all the operations that you could amplify. Like, my dad, he's a service-based business. He has an aquatic center, and they do like lake and pond installations and different things like that. Not saying that industry specifically, but anything that is doing a physical job in person is going to be big.
And having a special skill.
Having a unique special skill and being able to market yourself.
Yeah.
Like marketing, sales, being able to have those communication things, business development. I mean, even as a lobbyist, you're doing business development constantly to bring on new clients. You have to be able to manage policy with relationships, with business development. There's so many things to do. And I see more and more industries going that way.
Yeah.
But everyone has to be ready to pivot all the time. And that's going to be the hardest thing is educate yourself on AI, educate yourself on what's changing in your industry, and then be willing to adapt because it's changing in our sphere in software.
Yeah.
It's
And you kind of covered some of what I was going to ask, but what, and you really did kind of cover some of this, but let's go into it a little deeper. Sure. What parts of government affairs do you think will never be automated specifically?
Government decisions and trust. And that is in the age of 2026 where we do not see robotics and AI as human.
Yeah.
That is in the current stage. Like, humans do not believe that AI is a person.
But you think that's
I think that's
going to
going to
change?
I do. But I at this point in time, like, there's even the first AI personhood bill out. It was in Ohio. And now it's obviously going across the country. Because people are relying on these chatbots and like talking to them as if they're people.
Yeah. Emotional support a lot is a big portion of it. I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so there's some dark sides to it for sure. And
like how ads from a marketing perspective fit into someone who's having a relationship with AI, right? Now you're telling me, I love you so much and you need to go buy XX and X dish soap.
Weird. You're gonna have to pay premium to have them not give you
Right.
ads. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
And then you're gonna be like,
things
Dawn
that.
soap. I gotta go buy it. I have to. My love says it's the best one.
And it already does advertise in a way where you could say, where can I buy this type of skirt? And then it'll give you the top 5.
Right. But at least that's based off of like stuff that's out in the internet, right? I think right now.
We hope.
Well, unless
But
it's
yeah.
hallucinating, right? Of course, too. There's always that. One of the things we have to market a lot is AI, right? And I think to your point, some people are a little bit turned off by it, right? It's like, what is this? Or some of it's what is this, but also, it's new to me and I'm uncertain about it, right? What, for you, if you were, back in your old position, would, if I explained it to you, what part of the AI would like make you feel at ease, right? Like knowing that like, is it that your information is safe? Is it what? What would have made you feel at ease if I was trying to sell you this AI or market this AI to you?
I think knowing like it's sourced and cited and it's not, the hallucinations are going to drop down so much. Like, I don't think we've actually had one reported hallucination because we're focused specifically on the exact bill text or the exact hearing text or the statute or the rule. So I think that those types of things, when it can be cited and you can go look, like we're not going to say that they said this. Go watch it for yourself. But we find the information. AI is really good at finding information.
Yeah.
That's really hard to find or really time consuming to find. So it's not trying to tell you what to do. It's saying you ask the questions for guidance, and then the AI will present to you the information.
And definitely not taking it at face value ever, no matter what. Anyway,
Yeah, it's always kind of the you're the final decision maker. You do with it what you want, but I think that is always what's good.
Yeah. Well, in marketing, we do love a little drama.
Yes.
So I would love to hear, what you can say, right? Maybe a salacious story.
All right. Well, I won't say who, because there's too many to count, of sexual harassment happening from our customers to our team.
Oh no.
I think our guys are so professional, but the amount of hilarious comments I have received from particularly females about our team is truly hilarious. I really can't go into much more detail, but I do get these comments all the time from staffers reaching out saying, are they single, to me being like, this is an HR violation. I can't connect you, but you guys can reach out. Like, it's really funny. But I love that we're in the community. People know everybody. It's fun. And I love that.
Yeah.
It's funny.
The roles are reversed at this
They're
point
getting
in this world,
objectified.
which
I
is
have to protect them. We
Yeah.
have to protect them.
we will.
As
They're
mothers
so
of them.
they're so young and vulnerable.
They're so vulnerable.
You
I have to make
protect
sure
them
they're
from
protected. Yes.
from the wild world of government affairs.
Oh, they're hilarious. That's what
Yeah.
I do love. Our partners are really funny. We have a
Yeah.
really fun group of community
And just how they
and
engage
people.
with us
Yes,
is
I love how they
so
engage.
perfect. They bring us into their jokes, which keeps
Yes.
us in the community, because
True.
now we have the joke for the next time too.
Oh yeah, they keep us up on all the goss and
The
it's
goss,
great.
yes. Thank you, clients, for that. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. Well, I think that wraps up all of my questions today, but I really
you,
appreciate you
Jess.
taking the time.
Thank you. You could to come on next time.
Yeah, I will. Thank you. Bye.